It is Wednesday. It's the 26th of June. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center, live from Hong Kong. Lots happening today, and these are our top stories. A dramatic twist in Australian politics. In the last hour, Kevin Rudd has won the leadership of the ruling Labour Party. He defeated Prime Minister Julia Gillard in a ballot of Labour lawmakers by 57 votes to 45. It means Rudd, a former PM himself, will become Prime Minister for a second time and lead the party at the next general election slated for September. He was unseated by Ms. Gillard back in 2010, and ever since, the two have been locked in a power struggle that has split the party. Well, let's get more now on this story from Peter Van Onselen. He joins us now from Sydney. Peter, thank you very much for being with us. It seems, I think some people have described this as a very dysfunctional Labour Party. If you were the opposition leader today, Tony Abbott, how would you be feeling? Elated or worried?
Well, it's certainly been a dysfunctional government and a very dysfunctional relationship over the last 3 years between Julia Gillard.
Appreciate your time on a very, very busy night for you there in Australia. Peter Van Onselen, a contributing editor at the Australian newspaper and Sky News Australia, joined us there from Sydney. New developments to report now in the Edward Snowden case. A high-profile lawyer who works for WikiLeaks, Baltazar Garzon, will not represent the fugitive American. No reason has been given. Snowden remains a man without a country and no known destination. He admits he spilled U.S. surveillance secrets and would face espionage charges in the U.S. Moscow has covered some long distances to do it. He joins us now live from CNN Moscow. Phil.
Monita, we've known that Edward Snowden has been in transit at this Moscow airport for a few days now, but these comments...
Colourful indeed. Phil, thank you very much. Phil Black there live for us from Moscow. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. A fresh tragedy, even as safety beckons. A mission of mercy ends in disaster. We take you live to flood-hit India. Just ahead. CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. A quiet night and a peaceful, perfect end. That was the prayer for Nelson Mandela as an archbishop joined the former South African leader's family inside a Pretoria hospital. Still continues to be activity going in and out of the hospital, but yet no real updates as to the condition of the former president. Robin?
No real update. We still know he's on that critical list.
Robin, thank you very much for that. Robin Curnow there in Pretoria. Killed while saving lives. 12 people died when a helicopter crashed in India. It was part of a mission to rescue people from the floodwaters that have engulfed parts of the country. The country's prime minister described the crash as a huge shock. CNN's international correspondent Nick Robertson is in the city of Rishikesh in Uttarakhand with more on that. Nick.
Monita, the Prime Minister also said that it was the duty of the rescue missions to continue.
Thank you very much for that, Nick. Robertson reporting to us there from Rishikesh in Uttarakhand province there. Well, the big question everyone wants to know, is there any relief in sight from the torrential rain behind the flooding? Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center. It keeps on raining there, Mari, and the rainfall is above average, and we wonder, is there any relief in sight?
I think any kind of relief that we see from the weather is going to be on and off. In other words...
All right, Mari, thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. And stay with us here on News Center, live from Hong Kong. We'll be right back with much more. CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Let's bring you up to date on some of the other stories that we're following for you here on the show. The U.S. president has unveiled an aggressive new climate change strategy. Among Barack Obama's aims, to limit pollution from coal-fired power stations. He has only emerged from day 2 of a murder trial that has gripped the United States. Prosecutors say George Zimmerman was itching for a confrontation the night he shot and killed Trayvon Martin. Zimmerman says it was self-defense. CNN's George Howell is following the case in Florida, and we do warn you, his report does contain some graphic images that some of you may find upsetting.
requiring the state to prove.
It was too much for Tracy Martin and Sabrina Fulton.
Chaos and confusion marked the end of a fight over an abortion bill in the U.S. state of Texas. Democratic Senator Wendy Davis talked for 10 straight hours to deny Republicans the chance to vote on the bill before a midnight deadline. She was eventually forced to give up the floor before the deadline had been reached, but a Republican attempt to pass the bill also failed. The bill would have severely restricted legal access to abortion in the state. Japan's whaling program goes on trial today. Australia says Japan claims to be conducting scientific research, although what it's really doing is commercial whaling, and that it's killed more than 10,000 whales since a ban was introduced in the mid-1980s. The two countries are making their cases before judges at The Hague. And coming back down to Earth, 3 Chinese astronauts have completed a 15-day mission in orbit, China's longest manned spaceflight so far. The Shenzhou 10 spacecraft landed safely earlier today. The mission was part of a program that's meant to lead to a permanent Chinese space station. And before we go, we want to bring you more now on, and from having sandwiches thrown at her to being questioned about the sexuality of her partner. Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard has had a rough ride. So what's behind it all? Michael Holmes is at CNN Center in Atlanta, and he joins us now. Michael, it's been described as dirty politics there in Australia right now. And while some people say it's politics, not personal, one can't help but think it is personal.
Oh, it's all politics is dirty, isn't it, Monita? And Australian politics are dirtier than most on occasions. But, yeah, there has been a lot of personality involved.
It certainly makes the members of the party, the caucus, as you were saying there, certainly make them look very wishy-washy. One minute they're supporting Kevin Rudd, the next minute they're saying, no, okay, Julia Gillard, she needs to stay on. It certainly doesn't bode well for any sense of unity within the party.
Well, it doesn't, but at the moment now going into this election, they have to pull together.
Comes down to whatever it takes to win, eh, Michael?
Yeah, it does.
Thank you very much for that. Michael Holmes there at CNN Center in Atlanta. And you're watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal, live at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. I'll update you the news headlines in just a couple of minutes.